Hello, welcome to Drive Mod. My name is Michael, and today is a video that I have hesitated and not wanted to do for a year. And that is why this video is very important. What happened is July at Track 9 America, my wife and I decided to go together, which was really, really fun. Again, my wife going into track driving, and it was her second track day, and she was taking the BRZ. She was adamant about taking the BRZ. And I was in the M2 driving around. We're doing the same sessions, and the car is supercharged, and the car was still kind of in the shakedown phase, and it ran away from her, and she hit a wall. The lesson I want to impart with everybody on this is you can't afford not to get track insurance. And let me tell you why. This car has been wrecked 3 times now. Twice were in the rain, and the second time was a dry day. The tires are old. Driver excuses, whatever. The point is, you can't afford to not get track insurance if you're gonna play on the track. You're moving way too fast, and you can run out of talent or skill or whatever. And I mean, it's not the freeway, right? You have insurance for driving on the freeway. Why don't you have insurance for going out on the track? For cars like BRZs, it's really, really cheap. For the M2, it's really expensive. That's why I actually don't go to the track a lot with the M2. Is my wife and I have a rule that I get track insurance for the M2 because I'm still making payments on it. Absolutely fair. The interesting thing about this car is the first 2 times I wrecked it, I did have track insurance, and it paid for it. So aside from a not pleasant down, like 10% of the value of the car, it was paid for. So the first damage to the car was $18,000 in 2019, I think, 2018, 2019. Long story short for that one, car was not set up right. It was on all seasons. That should have worked. I ran low pressures, a suspension setup I was not familiar with, and I hydroplaned in turn 7 at the Ridge. I don't got video on it because I didn't have that kind of stuff then. I don't even think I have pictures anymore on it. I can't find it. But yeah, I hydroplaned into Station 7. Just lost control. Like, there was no amount of talent at the time to recover from that, except not going out at that time. Because all seasons don't really do much on the track. They really don't. So wrecked, I was around $18,000 in 2 or 3 months in the middle of racing season where I didn't have my car, and very much second guessing my skill as a driver. The second time was at a national tour time attack thing. I think in 2019. So it was 2017 when I wrecked the first time. 2019 was the second time, and it was a rainy event, and I hydroplaned down the front straight at the Ridge at about 80 miles an hour. I was just going straight, let off just a little bit, hit this little groove that has since been paid over, and all of a sudden my car was going sideways into the chicane before it was being built. That was around $12,000 of damage. I only paid $2,000. First time around, I only paid $2,000 for that damage, for the deductible, right? Just like normal insurance. It was both through Locked-In, by the way. So you're wondering who it was. It was through Locked-In, and covered all my mods. They added the mods that I had on the car at the time for the front end. There was no engine damage. There was no radiator damage. There was no airbags. Otherwise, the car would have been a total loss. This time, an airbag blew. So, thing with this one is, since the crash was in July, I've had to make a bunch of decisions. And the reason why I'm doing this video is because we have made the decision to do what a lot of people that have these cars that don't get track insurance do, and that's the part out. Kind of sit down here because I'm actually sad about this. So my wife and I made the decision to get it fixed. Bought November of last year. We accumulated, or sorry, even before that, like August, September. I was thinking, I got some initial quotes on the damage. I mean, it was extensive, but the airbag blew, which sucks, but I can fix that. We get the parts and things like that, and get the auto body because I just want my car back, right? I love this thing. I really love it. It is a perfect car for me. So we made the decision to fix the car or do what we can to fix the car and accrue parts early, which I didn't know with a lot of auto body shops is that they make a lot of money off the parts that they buy. So for you to fix the car, I decided to combat inflation a little bit because inflation on parts and parts availability was going high, and I wanted to be able to like maximize if it's on the auto body shop. Hopefully, it's there for like 2-3 months and not like a year, for example. So I was trying to hedge my bets there, doing a few things. I refreshed the entire bomb suspension, which we will go into. That's the supercharger, which I barely got to use before this happened. Still doing shakedown. We were having heat soaking issues, just a lot of stuff. But my wife really liked driving this car. It was kind of perfect for her because it had like a lot of power and it was a lot of fun. It had that cornering ability.
It just sounds so fucking angry.
It's so good. Coming down the corkscrew, we hit the front. So all of this kind of was damaged here. This had to be replaced. So this is actually a new part. This had to be replaced. You can see it's just all borked and everything. The splitter was destroyed that was sitting here. So I actually took the brunt of the damage was the splitter. The lower control arm, which is actually replaced, was broken. And the fender was just completely destroyed. All that kind of stuff has already been tossed. There was a little bit of damage here. So right next to that grounding point, there's some damage there. A little bit of waviness that we detected. It's right around where the front subframe happened. So the lower control arm was completely turned into a U shape, which was totally great to see. So the auto body shop already removed the bumper. But the things we can see here, which necessitated the frame damage, was this. Right there, all there, and there, and there. So major quarter panel damage here, which you have to cut off here and down there. Remove this, and the bumper was removed. That one's pretty much destroyed. So that all warped here. That buckled here, all extensive. That buckled up there, kind of can see there, and here, that all buckled there. So this is all fucked. There, of course, and you can't see the warpage underneath this, but it was all bad. Now, what we did to it was in the vein of trying to fix it all and get it running again and get it moving and everything. My wife and I refreshed the entire car underneath. So like it's got the coilovers got refreshed. We got new control arms. We put a new rear subframe in. We got these in instead of burnt out bushings in here because I didn't want to do that again. We still got our insert. We still got our inserts up here. I did have a new white line bar since for sale. Got new end links, adjustable end links. We redid so you can see the blue bushings there. We redid the upper control arms. We did some adjustable stabilizers arm. These are the trailing arms, but I forget what these are. Trailing links, something like that. I don't know. Yeah, a new diff because the 4.3 wasn't working out, so I did the bushing thing on this one. So those bushings are in. Did some fun stuff on the front. So we got white line. So we upgraded the lower control arms, put some white line bushings in there, the anti-dive kit or the anti-caster. It's one of those. I think this one we're looking at here is this anti-dive caster thing. Either way, really, really good. New steering, new links because the power string broke. New end links, white line end links up top, and refreshed suspension here. And I did take off the AP Sprint kit because I needed the money, so I sold that. The auto body shop did have the car for a month. They gave me initial assessment, which is around $1,000 or $10,000 to fix, which I was like, cool, 10 grand. I don't believe you, but cool.
I waited for 4 months to deliver this car to them. So 4 months I waited, and then I dropped it off in May, and I made the appointment in January. So I called them in January. Hey, can you accommodate me? I have the parts. Are you willing to work with me on this? And they're like, yeah, which is really great because no one else would. So I signed up R&R Auto Finishing. You guys are awesome. Thank you for working with me. Unfortunately, I can't afford to fix this. So it was 10 grand initial estimate, and then they gave me the supplemental, and that's what happened. So the supplemental was around 7 to 8 grand in addition, and I already was 5 grand in parts. We tried to do a lot. We tried to save money where we could, but in the end, what it came down to was it's not worth it. The car's been wrecked 3 times. It's really not worth much anymore. The parts are worth more than the car, especially the supercharger. The engine was fine. Engine runs fine. You know, like the radiator wasn't punctured or anything. Like just the only thing that was leaking was the windshield wiper fluid. We're gonna strip it down this weekend to a bare shell. It's not what I wanted for the car. It really isn't. It deserves better and it deserves a new life, but I can't afford it. I didn't want these cars to be. There's so many of these cars that are wrecked because people don't buy track insurance, right? And and they have loan payments and stuff like that, and they have to make do and part out and stuff like that. I mean, we've owned this car for 4 years. So the idea was it was gonna be a track car and that something like this might happen, but track insurance would cover it. But it was the one day I didn't get track insurance, and they give you the baseline of how much it is generally, so that you're not like freaking out or anything. Because you can get like a yearly plan. It looks like it's like $2,000 or $3,000, and that's kind of ridiculous. If that's it works if you know how many track days you intend to do and you have the dates and everything and you pre-plan. If you're just going on a track day, random track day with friends like On Grid or Turn 2, if you're local or whatever, it's very straightforward just to buy a la carte. It is more expensive technically, but if you have like a BRZ with like 10 grand a month, so this was like 15K, worth 15K, it's a 2014 BRZ. It's worth 15K just for the car with all the mods and everything. It was around 10 to 15K, whatever. That's your agreed upon value. So you put in your agreed upon value, and that's what. So like in this case, so I was insuring this car for 25. The M2 also has mods, things like that. I insure that car for 50. So the difference between 50 and 25, you can kind of probably gather. So generally, I try to keep I go to track days that are cheap and stuff like that, and I just use them for practice and stuff. So I'm not going like 10/10 on like a time trial or something. But for this cause around, it started before my first crash around 110. This is pre-inflation. This is like 4 or 5 years ago. First wreck was only $125, and this was with Lockton, by the way. Hagerty is about 25 to 30. Hagerty is about 25 to 30% more expensive. I have never submitted a claim through Hagerty, so I don't know their experience. I've only submitted a claim through Lockton, and they were wonderful. When you do the insurance stuff, it's like $120 or so, and then you agree that you pay 10%. If something happens and you file a claim, it's 10% of the agreed upon value. So you can imagine at $50,000 for a M2, it could get pretty up there. You could lower the price if it was 15% for agreed upon value. So there are ways to lower the price if you're super confident you're not going to hit anybody, or no one's going to hit you, or something just happens. And by the way, they do cover engine explosions. So keep in mind, like if you have a nice car and your engine explodes, you can file a claim with the track insurance and potentially get a new motor. It's up to you. So that's another thing. It's read the fine print. It covers mods and everything. So after the second crash, my rate went up to about 160 per track event. So it's not much. It really isn't much. So just think about that. Consider that. So yeah, for the M2, for around $50,000, $47,000 to $50,000 for agreed upon value, a track day. Say if a track day is $250 to $400, the track insurance for the car was another $250. This is where it does pay to play. It gets expensive, which is also why I don't do as many track days with the M2. And I want a car that I can do a lot of track days and just with low consumables, things like that. I care about more seat time than the fastest seat time. So yeah, so that's the video. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. So that's the story of the BRZ, of what's happening, where it was. We've owned it for 6 years. It has got me through national championships, gone through so many tours. It's gone through so many tracks. It's I might be back. I love the platform. Like, there was a lot of problems I didn't like about it. Mostly the power plant. The power plant is absolutely its weakest point. But anyone that says that the FA20 motor is not reliable, this fucking bullshit. You keep oil in it, you get an oil cooler, you don't supercharge it. Like, it's still reliable after supercharging, but you don't supercharge it, you just keep it, even with like a stage 2 tune. I got headers, I got all sorts of stuff in here. But you know, you do all that, you keep it solid, and you don't like, you know, and you just take care of it. This thing had 30,000 track miles. 30,000. No engine trouble yet. It's been through 3 wrecks, no engine trouble yet. Like, it's a phenomenal it's a phenomenal motor. It just doesn't have a lot of power. So, and that just makes it not as competitive, not especially with the new GR86, which is a lot more competitive. Anyway, that's the video. I gotta get back to work because I'm doing this on my lunch break. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and do all those things that people do on YouTube's. And please get track insurance for your next event. Please do yourself a favor. You can't not get track insurance. Protect yourself. Protect your finances. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye, BRZ. You were very good to me.